Hello and welcome to the Reloading Podcast. No, Mike ain't here. I'm Jim. God.
Brought to you by
Primary Arms. And I already screwed up.
not a problem. We'll
Primary
let you
Arms.
squeak by this time. So what you been doing, Jim?
I went to the range. I made an acquisition. I bought a tubular red dot, true red dot. Let's see here. Try and go live on the Reloading Podcast group. It's going to go. I guess it's not going to go. I don't know. Hold on, folks. Chris, you're going to have quite a bit of work in the beginning of the show.
I'm not worried. I'm still trying to play catch up on getting
God.
other things caught up. So
Sorry about this, folks. I screwed up, changed the setting, and whatever. Let's start over. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast. No, I'm not Mike. Mike ain't here. I'm Jim. Anyway, Paul, cue you.
Cue me.
Yeah,
Brought to you by Primary Arms.
Very good.
Okay. And Patriot Patch.
And here's the patch of the month. Well, actually, I'll go with the sketch of the month because when Ryan Cross does it, they published the original artwork he did, pencil work.
And that is a Molotov cocktail.
Yep. And like I said last week, the colors to me, I think, Chris, that's actually better. The colors to me are straight out of the Ukrainian flag. But Mike says that this patch was designed way ahead of the Ukrainian event.
That's okay. So, Sharenda.
Yes.
What happens with you this last week?
I've been bugging a lot of companies,
Ah,
calling and asking them questions about their stuff. And for the most part, I think these people are like bored at work because they get so excited when you start off with, I know nothing. I'm calling to find out some more info about your product. Next thing you know, you're on the phone about 30 minutes to an hour with these people just chatting it up about stuff. So,
isn't that something else we have in this industry?
yeah. And they're like, if you have any more, one lady even gave me her cell phone number. Said, if you got any more questions, just shoot me a text and I'll Zoom you. And I'm like, oh, this is great. So, and I'm still trying to accessorize this Savage. And while we were waiting for the show to come on, my dad's been harassing me. I got him an air rifle for Father's Day. Didn't tell him it had a scope. Just gave it to him. And you don't need a scope for it, for what he's doing. And because he knows it exists, he demanded that I put it on.
There you go. Okay.
That's what that is there.
Got to practice. Got to practice.
With what? He's going to be shooting at empty beer cans.
No. You put the scopes on.
Well, that doesn't technically count.
Yes, it
Why
does.
not?
No.
It's
it doesn't
experience.
count.
Yeah.
It's
does not
valuable
count.
experience.
I didn't have to hunt for the rings. I didn't have to hunt for anything. It came in the box, so therefore it should fit.
Well, you're learning how to assemble things like that. And that's critical for the 6.5.
Yeah.
Y'all also been spending my money.
Yeah, we do that rather well.
I tried to tell you not to buy the one and just save your money for the other one.
And I listened to you this time. I
Okay.
know. Y'all, I'm on record. I did as I was told.
That's a first.
Okay.
I'm on record. And I got some stuff coming in. I have to go to Arizona next month.
Okay.
So I'm going to be shooting in the desert. I don't know where yet. Just know that it's going to happen. So I got some stuff I can leave there.
Make sure you take water with you. Absolutely.
I'm aware, Jim. Which I have
No,
something for that too.
you don't realize how much water you'll lose in
Yeah,
our
I
pond.
frequent Arizona quite frequently. I just never really post that on Facebook or
Okay.
Instagram.
Okay, good.
So yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with my sister-in-law and shoot in the desert and play with this
There's lots of places
clean
to shoot
water.
in Arizona in the desert.
Yeah, there is.
You can have a really, really long range.
Yeah, most of it legal too.
Yeah.
And pretty flat.
BLM
Yeah,
land. Yeah.
yeah. And then I'm arranging some girl shenanigans.
Okay.
So we'll see how that. I'll have more entertaining details for you guys. Just know that the shenanigans all involve guns.
How's your reloading been going?
Pretty good. Other than it's just pistol rounds. I forgot when my basement had that sewage flood.
Yeah.
I had a few expensive things that I actually just went ahead and tossed because they were gross and they were electronic. So I got to replace a few things before I start trying to reload rifle rounds again. But in the midst of unpacking some more stuff and tinkering around, I found the very first 223 and 243 loads that I made that I had to do in class for my test. So it was cool. I think I'm gonna go shoot those this in a couple of weeks too. So
Good. Good.
yeah.
Good.
And I know those work because I've loaded more since then and those work. So y'all see me on the next episode.
Okay. You won't shoot your face off. Okay.
Yeah, now my dad, on the other hand, once I give him the Zero rifle, we'll see. I made him sign a fake waiver saying it's all on him. I will not be responsible for any eyes he puts out.
Okay. Chris, Mr. Sharp,
Yes, sir.
what you been up to?
Oh, obviously, Cerakoting is pretty busy right now because, well, people can't find stuff in for normal rifles. So, like, oh, I'll make my new rifle or my old rifle look new and different. Doing some pistols for some people. One gentleman's got me. I've actually color matched to his wife's Jeep and his Jeep. Yeah, that was a chore, but it's we're using some of the FX series to kind of give it a different look based off different base coats, and it's going to be pretty close. Not exact. I mean, you're never going to be exact, but got an action in for a build I'm going to start. Loaded some more of the CX stuff up for the Lapua. I'm going to try different brass and different powders. I did do round 2. I know I forget who it was that was asking about it last week. I did do round 2, same results, basically about that 90 grains with the 4831. I started having pressure issues, Pierce primer again. So I'm going to do that hopefully this weekend if it's not hotter than hell like it's been, because I don't want to go bake in the sun, even early morning when it's, mid 80s right now. And then I loaded up some of the 190 CX for the 300 PRC. Use a couple powders on that. So 3 different powders for the Lapua one, a couple powders for the 300 PRC, and we'll see how it all goes.
Nice. Nice.
What'd you do this week in guns or reloading, Paul?
Went out, did some pistol shooting at a new range they just opened up out here, and American Gun Range out here in Indiana, and come to decide that I have to put red dots on all of my handguns. The eyes are getting bad, so it is time to get rid of the iron sights on some things and start milling slides and buying red dot sights for my handguns.
Your new range indoors or outdoors?
It is indoors, which was nice because it was 90 some degrees outside, and it was nice and air conditioned at about 68 degrees inside, meat locker temperature.
Ooh, that sounds nice right about now.
So that's that. And
Hold on. We didn't cover mine the second time.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Jim went to the range for once. You know,
That's
it's been
right.
a while, so Jim went to the range, and Jim's proud of it. Anyway, I did pick up this. Well, it's put it. You can't hardly see it on the photo. I don't think. I don't know. Oh wait a minute. Let me zoom in on myself. Yeah, you might be able to see it now. It's a red dot. It's a tubular red dot. It's actually a red dot, not a reflex.
Okay.
And the difference is get this mug off the screen. God. Anyway, I put about 200 rounds to it, and it seems quite substantial. The battery didn't come loose, caps didn't come loose. And it's fairly easy to take and adjust, and so on and so forth. I wasn't even thinking about it. My wife was sitting in the truck waiting on me to get done, and she was sitting there watching me pinging steel at 25 yards. You know, the little double-sized silver dollar steel targets, 25
Okay.
yards offhand. Double-handed offhand, for sake of transparency. But I was actually zeroed in. It's like ping, 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 ping. It's like, oh, I like that.
So what did you mount it on?
My Ruger Mark II.
Okay.
I have the sight mark. It's actually the sight mark's inside of this box, but I have a sight mark, which is a reflex sight, and the batteries seemed like it kept coming loose. The battery contacts or whatever may have worn out under recoil. That thing probably shot. I probably put 20 bricks to it,
Okay.
and 20 bricks, that's 10,000 rounds, and it probably worked loose.
All right. That's not bad though. 20,000 rounds, and that's pretty good life.
Yeah, it is. And it takes the former red dot, the sight mark. Well, like I said, it's a holographic reflex sight. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it took a 2032 battery, the button battery, I guess they call it.
Yes.
And this new one doesn't take the same battery, but I will stock up on it too. But they say that with a red dot like that, the LEDs and the way the minuscule power draw, I should be able to get 5,000 to 10,000 shots out of that battery. It's like, oh,
Well,
I like the
that's like
sound of that.
some of them, are up to 50,000 hours of use, at a medium setting. So that's still, they're pretty good that way.
Yeah, I like that.
It's not like some of the holographic ones, like
Sight mark.
Sight mark and the EOTech, which can go through a battery in a day or two. But they're not normally for pistols. They usually put those on ARs.
Right.
So, all right. On to our main
By
topic.
the way, where's Mike? Where's Mike? Mike ain't here.
Yep.
Anybody know where Mike is? Like kind of where's Waldo?
Well, we won't go into that. But
Mike's running slack tonight. That's all.
Yeah. On with the what's our main topic tonight, sir?
I believe I named it. What to do with unknown powders? Because Mike has presented us with a conundrum. Mike has presented us with a conundrum as he wants to take some powder apart and reuse it, or some ammo apart and reuse the powder.
Okay.
Which is something we tell everybody not to do.
So how would we go about doing this?
Well, number one, if you first round you take apart, you weigh the charge, you weigh the projectile.
Okay.
Maybe
Then
do that
you-
for 5 rounds. Keeping the rounds separated, but still weigh 5 charges, 5 projectiles. Knowing what caliber you're talking about. So
shoot it first to get velocity.
yep, could be.
I would shoot it first to get velocity.
I don't believe Mike owns a chronograph, so that's going to be a problem.
I think Mike owns a chronograph. He's got a lab radar.
He's got that. I believe he has a magnetospeed and a.
Oh, that's right.
I
That's
think
right.
he's got 3.
So, number one thing would be to shoot the rounds, some rounds to find out if and what the velocity is, because that would be your number one to see what your maximum load was going to be. Wouldn't go over whatever velocity you got from that. Number two would be to deconstruct the rounds, to figure out the amount of powder that's in there, and then to kind of get an idea of what the bearing surface is going to be of the bullet that you're going to use. I would also be measuring the case heads myself, so I know what my starting case dimension would be and my finished case head with factory loads. Next, I would take and reduce the powder charge by 10%.
Yep.
And to
Start
start
pull out all the tops.
right, but you got to pull
Safety
everything.
stops.
So
No, I mean,
You know.
I meant you got to pull all the safety stops out.
right,
Make sure you
Yeah.
do everything correctly and well and carefully.
don't go below 10% though either.
Right.
You don't know how the powder is going to react, so go down 10%, which is, let's say it's a 308 type load. You're talking 4 grains, 4.5 grains maybe, and then work your way back up carefully. But I question the part was, where was he going to get enough powder from? And I know he's tearing down some bullets that he's got and loaded rounds that he has. And hopefully they're not blank rounds, because blanks would be different.
Yeah, I hope he's not using blank ammo oh God,
Uh-huh.
because that stuff is like using bullseye, the hottest powder on the market.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
I've got a question. With these rounds that Mike's tearing down, are they a factory round, or is it something that, just somebody gave him that they reloaded, or is it stuff that he reloaded himself?
I have no idea, to tell you the truth.
I'm
assuming factory, but I could be wrong.
From what I understand, they're factory rounds that somebody gave him.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I think, as I don't know if most of our listeners know, that most of your factory ammo, it's proprietary stuff that we just can't get off of. Like with Hornady, their factory ammo, that's stuff that they've worked with various manufacturers to come up with a specific powder for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I would assume probably Winchester, Remington, everybody else does basically the same stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a while there that Federal, with their 308 match loads, were using Reloader 15, and then they switched to another powder. But yeah, I think we've kind of all done something like this if you've been hand loading for a while. Used to get match loads from the government, and their bullets were lousy. The 173 grain match bullets were lousy, and we would Mexican match them by pulling the bullet and then seating a Sierra 168 grain on top of it. So, yeah, you know,
I think one thing we can all take into account too is that if you are tearing down factory ammo, at least, I mean, without knowing exactly what powder, obviously, you can take a little, solace in that fact that they're designing these rounds to be well within SAMI spec. So it, in theory, should not exceed any pressure issues, even if you just reloaded that 9 mil or whatever with that same charge weight.
theory.
There's
In
something
theory.
else too that Chris, you touched on a few minutes ago, and that is the fact that excuse me, the ammo makers and the powder makers, they can blend their powders together to create what we would call a duplex load.
Mhm.
They can blend 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 powders together in various quantities to determine their burn rate that they need to get for a particular round of ammo. We simply don't have that kind of facility.
No, I mean, they're also using the barrels that they can measure the pressures and all that stuff down
Right.
to make sure they're well within safe operating range.
Well, hell,
which-
some of their pressure barrels could be as big, fat as 3 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
Gerald Flitchner, reloading books, yes, they never shoot reloads prepared by others, even family and friends. I don't ignore the rules. They're there for safety and end of discussion. Okay.
Thank you,
Right.
Gerald. Appreciate your input.
Yes, we do. We're sitting here trying to answer a question that somebody has put up, and how you would go about doing it. And he's not trying to reuse the loads that someone has made. He's trying to reuse the powder that he's pulling. And we're sitting there saying, here's a way to get there. Not 100% perfect. This is a, this is a real tiptoe through the minefield.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you ask anybody that's been hand loading more than a day, the first thing they're going to say, if it's an unknown load and you're pulling, you want to salvage the bullet, the case, the primer, what have you, well, we're going to say, there's an empty jug, put all that powder in it, use it for fertilizer, start a fire with it, something like that. Don't reuse it. But I think what this gentleman or whoever posed this question was trying to think worst case scenario. It's like, especially with the crunch that we're under, of how can I reuse this component, not really knowing exactly what it is, but still try to do it safely.
Right.
Well, I've always advocated going the fertilizer method myself. But if push comes to shove, the balloon goes up, the shit hits the fan. Or excuse me, Chris, there's for you the SHTF stuff. If it gets that bad, well, my opinion, you should have stocked up a lot better, a lot sooner than you did. Chris is out there in the middle of God's country in Wyoming. If he doesn't have 10,000 rounds in his place, he's an idiot.
I will neither confirm nor deny how much I have on hand.
Exactly, and I wouldn't blame you. Don't blame me a bit. You better have more than I just named, and that's a lot of ammo for the individual. But anyway, Shrenda, your input, please.
So yeah, but I mean, if he's just now getting started, Jim, it's not gonna be feasible. Like if he went out and got all this stuff last week, do you really think he's gonna have 10,000 rounds of everything right now?
What? We're talking about pull down powder.
Yeah, but you just made the comment. You need to.
Oh, that was aimed directly at Sharp. That's all. Just beating on my brother veteran.
Did he say how many
No, he didn't.
rounds he because
He
like,
said,
it
"Yeah,
looks
well,
like
could neither confirm or deny how much ammunition I have on hand."
no, I'm talking about the guy that's asking about this powder because I mean,
Okay.
No,
if we're
he
talking about a couple hundred. It's why is your safety even worth the bother?
Ah,
there's the best question
Yep.
of the day. There's the best question of the day.
here's
Yeah.
here's one of the better answers too. The sharp's already thrown out there. It comes from an unknown source. Unknown powders I keep in an old jug for starting fires. That comes from our friend Paul Loud.
And I'll be honest with you guys, everything that I pull goes into a jug, and yeah, eventually gets to turn into fertilizer or whatever, but it doesn't get reused. It never gets reused.
Well,
So-
you go to think about this. For example, we're talking about 2 calibers. Just bear with me.
Uh-huh.
You're pulling powder out of 10 millimeter ammunition, and you're going to try putting that same powder under a bullet of similar weight in a 357 Magnum. I mean, we're talking about a recipe for a freaking explosion in your hand.
Could be, yeah.
Even though the 2 calibers are roughly comparable in power level, the bore diameter alone is for 10 millimeters, 400 thousandths, which is going to be a wider combustion chamber inside the cartridge, as opposed to 357, which is about, I don't know, what, 340 on the inside.
Right. You
You lose 60 thousandths of diameter of the boiler room, shall we say?
and
No.
and the other difference is the 10 millimeters sit there at can be at 44,000 psi versus 357 Magnum, which is only 35,000 psi. Big difference.
Yep.
And the cylinders on the 357 can get quite thin and still contain 35,000 psi. 10 millimeters got a pretty thick barrel comparatively to a 357 cylinder.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah, we're
There-
talking the structure of the steel, the tensile strength of the steel, the structure of the cylinder, the whole 9 yards. We're talking about metallurgy and everything, guys. You don't want to take a risk. This.
My other concern is, I mean, without knowing what it is, we don't know. I mean, we don't know what happens to that powder once air hits it. I mean, we don't know what they're putting in with that. I don't think it'd be worth the risk.
I think the latest comment in the YouTube chat, the juice is not worth the squeeze. That's spot on, because I don't care if somebody gave me 1,000 rounds, I wouldn't even mess with it. I would just, if I was pulling stuff to save components, I'd dump all that powder, because kind of like Sharinda was saying, I mean, you don't know what that powder is. I mean, heck, did somebody actually use, say, a rifle powder in a pistol round or a pistol powder in a rifle round? I mean, you don't really know. So it's just not worth it.
And don't listen
God.
to Paul Loud, rather.
God.
Oh, here's one for you. There's one for you, Paul, right there.
Yep.
Not you, Mr. Nelson.
I know.
We're talking with Mr. Loud.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And there's Mike, believe it or not, harassing us.
Yeah.
Reloading podcast, making comments. Who is that ugly putz on the bottom left? That'd be you, Sharp.
So
Well, it's his fault. He asked me to jump on where he couldn't come in.
I did, and I'm glad you're here. You should have. So shut up and quit bitching about it. Oh, glad you're here. Seriously. So juice is not worth the squeeze. Yes, some fool. That's a good YouTube name.
Yep.
It makes an excellent fire starter.
Yep. So does cotton ball soaked in Vaseline too.
Yeah, but the powder making a little trail up to where you want the big flame to be.
Just like in the movies,
More
eh?
fun. Yeah, it's more fun. Throw some of those color changing stuff in the fire. Couple fireworks. Don't listen to me. I may or may not have done that.
Paul Loud, here's one. I got to put this up. You save all the mystery powder, the rifle powder, the flash powder, the firecracker powder, everything for loading 40 short and weak. You're mean.
Please do not do that, ladies and gentlemen. Please do not do that.
Yeah.
I
God, I hope this doesn't supersede my disclaimer that Mike and I created a long time ago. The tax on every show.
Yeah. Just follow the books, ladies and gentlemen. Use powder that comes from a jug that that you opened, and follow the book, the loading that's in the book. That's going to be our final on this one, because we all want you here for the next week.
Paul, you had a question about high-tech bullets?
Yeah, there was a post on MeWe, and a gentleman had purchased 2,000 bullets, and he was loading them. They were 3.55 diameter, coated with high-tech, and he was getting keyholing in his results when he was shooting the bullets. What could be his problem?
Well, I guess one question I would ask, I haven't really shot any coated bullets, but I kind of did a little research when I saw that question. Is he flaring the case enough that he's not shaving the coating off the bullet? Is he getting any buildup from that coating into the barrel or anything like that? I mean, those could be some things that are affecting the accuracy or something like that.
Keyholing, so that means that the bullet is not engaging the rifling very well. That's number one thing. Okay? We could say it's a problem.
Paul?
Guys, I
Paul's-
can't tell if I have a bad connection or if that's
No, I
just
think
Paul.
Paul's got a bad connection. Paul?
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
Paul.
Paul, you might have to disconnect and come back. We'll bring you right back in, because you're going all digital on us, buddy. Sure. I wanted to make a mention. Paul Loud's comment. Seeing today's prices on powder, it's important to keep only one powder on the bench at a time. I've done exactly what he's hinting about. I wound up leaving some unique in my powder measure, dumped some BLC2 on top of it, didn't realize it. I made my own duplex load and I didn't like the results. And follow on is having you dump out a now 50-pound bottle of powder is not cost effective. Okay. Paul's gone. We'll bring him right back so he can answer the question or bring up, because he seems to know more about. I missed the comment or the posting in MeWe about using high-tech powder coat.
I almost
Okay.
wonder where he got his from, because I actually have some of those now that I've been loading for a couple 3 years, and I can't say that I've had that problem.
Shrenda, what's the diameter on your bolts? You know, dear?
356.
That could well be a problem of the posting Paul's talking about from MeWe. Are you back, Mr. Nelson?
I think I'm back. Is everything okay on your side?
Please
Yep.
resume. Please begin again with your little monologue.
I was just saying that keyholing, when he's receiving keyholing from his bullets, which would mean that he's not engaging the rifling very well in his rounds, which could be caused by a number of issues. We don't know the slug diameter of his bore. We don't know how much crimp he's put on to the bullet, and we don't know if he's got any problem with the bullet shedding its coating. The other problem that we could have is that the bullets were sized out of round. Now, they may appear to be round as you go through it, but if they're offset as they were sized, the bullet will won't gyroscopically stabilize, and it will start to end.
I favor Sharonda's explanation. She actually didn't give one, but she was talking about her high-tech bullets, high-tech coated bullets, and they were like .356 diameter. I'm thinking myself the bullets are too small for his bore.
Okay.
That's my personal thought. That's what do I know?
Well, the only reason why I was asking about, I wonder where he got them from, because for a while I noticed when I was buying some, because I wanted to go through the color phase. There were so many pop-up mom and pop places. I wasn't real, I ordered like some sample packs. I wasn't real impressed with how the coating looked on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if he's just buying them from, a friend of a friend, or if he's getting them from reputable companies.
He didn't mention the company's name. All he mentioned was that he had an issue that they measured 355 as he put them on his mic, and he was receiving keyholing, and he tried different velocities to try to get them to stabilize at higher velocities or at low velocity. So he started below starting charges, and he went up over factory, over suggested top rounds, loaded rounds, he hot rodded a little bit. So over crimping, that could do it. Over crimping,
because you're actually deforming the walls of the bullet.
right. The interesting thing he said was that it happened on multiple guns. So, and he even tried it. He said, in a PCC with a longer barrel, and he was still getting issues. So I'm going with Jim on the first part. Is the bullet is probably too small for his bore. Even over multiple guns, 355 in any 9mm should be, if it's a cast bullet, should be up in the 356, 357 range. If it's got a hard jacket on it, then a good copper jacket, then 355 will work. But if you don't have anything to engage, if you're not engaging the lands very well, it could cause you problems. The other thing is, and I still think this is another problem, the bullets could be out of balance by being improperly sized. Coated bullets can have that happen to them.
Well, that sounds like there's two potential issues, and it actually could be a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Undersized and off center, which is guaranteed I can guarantee that would cause keyholing.
I also wonder if he's used any other bullets that were 355.
Not that he has mentioned.
There's so many wonders.
Yep. Well, we're just trying to go through and come up with issues of why, and what could be the issues. There's no way to tell if the bullet was sized out of round, and I mean out of round by see it in most bullets, especially
You're freezing up again, Paul.
What's going on here today, guys? I don't know.
God.
How does 7
Paul,
9?
Paul, would you kindly reconnect again, please, sir?
Yep. Okay.
Okay, wait. You came back. I think you're back. Give us a 5 count, Paul.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're back.
Okay.
Please restate that.
Paul Loud is saying that he's running 357s in his 9mm without issues.
That would be
Okay.
lead bullets, though.
Well, these are high-tech coated bullets, so
Yeah.
and I think Paul Loud coats his bullets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think they're too small. They're basically too small. Let's be honest with each other. A coated bullet is not the same as a jacketed bullet.
Amen to that.
And I'm pretty sure. I kind of wonder if he's going with the same vendor, if he shot these before, or if he went with a different vendor. Because if you start changing vendors, from my understanding with coated bullets, you're going to get a whole bunch of variants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only ordered mine from the same 3 companies.
I'm just taking a look at his post.
I know there's still a lot of cast bullet vendors out there too. Sharp's got a good point. If he's changing vendors left, right, and center, you're not going to have a lot of consistency by doing that.
He says he's getting the same results on any firearm from 3 inches to 5 inches of the barrel size, and it's everything that I see is bullets too small.
Agreed. Let's see here. Let me go over and make sure. Hey, guys, a little bit of housekeeping, if you don't mind. Number one, make sure you click that like button. There's, 26 watching and 13 likes. Okay, secondly, guys, I got to say, for you newcomers, if you're watching YouTube, you come to Facebook or MeWe, and you want to join our group, you have to answer the questions. All 3 questions. Sharinda, I know, has admin rights, but I don't think she does a whole lot of admitting members.
Well, y'all beat me to it.
Thank you.
I do a lot of deleting and bouncing, though.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's fine. The thing is, if you want to join our group, you have to answer all 3 questions. If you don't, well, we're like Sharinda said, we're going to delete your application. Simple as that. I mean, Facebook is on us so hard about this mess. It's like if we're trying to all we're trying to do is weed out the damn trolls. And if somebody says, I want to load 272 Winchester Bullseye, that's the answer to one of the questions that he wants to reload. We know doesn't know what he's talking about. So that's a combination that doesn't exist. So that's about all I got to say about. Well, welcome, Miss Kitty. We appreciate you there. But this is for people that are trying to get into the group. They come from YouTube, watching the show, and trying to get into the Facebook group. We want you there. We want you there if you're sincere. But if you don't answer the questions, we don't know you from beans, from Adam.
Can I add on to that too?
Please do.
Don't also on Facebook, don't suggest or try to sneakily suggest that you have brass to sell, primers to sell. Don't post sales that you found somewhere. That's what the whole MeWe group is for. Those trigger alerts on Facebook. Also, if somebody asks what you think is a dumb question, if you don't have any productive feedback, just don't answer at all. I've seen some people on there, common sense says that's not necessary. Be a solution, don't add to the problem. If they knew what they were doing, they wouldn't be asking questions from those that do.
I agree with you, Shreda. I don't think there's anything as a dumb question, especially in reloading, because if somebody's asking the question, they honestly don't know and couldn't find the answer.
Yep,
So,
because I'm not gonna lie, I've kicked people out just for being jerks. We don't need that in the group. We
Thank you,
don't.
dear. I didn't realize you had been. No, well, that's one of the things between us admins that we need to start posting in the admin group what we're doing. It shows up in the admin log, but that's different. Anyway, thank you, Ms. Sharenda. That really, I really appreciate that, kicking people out they're trying to sell.
Yep.
Because that'll wind up getting the majority. We're talking 10,000 plus member group. Facebook deleted 50,000 member groups.
Hmm.
They don't give a damn. They're liberals, okay? They're not. They don't support the Second Amendment. They don't support anything our gun rights. All guns are bad according to them. So that's why we keep our discussion intellectual and not personal. Do we have any other pertinent topics for the go to the order?
Yeah, Paul Loud. He didn't ask me to count backwards from 5. Okay, that would have been harder. So,
All right. Well, it looks like this is going to be a rather short show, simply because the normal host isn't here, and I apologize for doing such a poor job. But this is the first time I've done it.
Oh, this has been real entertaining.
Shut up, Sharenda.
well, we finally got you to hang around the whole time.
Hey, I'm usually there, but as I just got through fussing at everybody, if I'm going to be moving guns in and out the safe and doing stuff that'll flash on air, I'm sorry, guys. I'm muting the camera. I'm not up to anything weird or not there listening. I just don't want to get us kicked off YouTube. Which this is an air rifle. This is not a firearm.
That's right. According to the ATF.
Paul Loud, I do not like crayons. I was Army, not Marine. Okay, so no, that doesn't go over well. I know where I can get your Marine crayons without a problem, though.
So do I.
A problem.
Idaho Rogers has a big supply.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he gonna come down there and kick your butt, Chris.
Which
You
y'all know
probably
what?
welcome him too.
Since y'all been talking about the crayons, and I can't remember how many episodes ago that was, but it's come up twice. I went and looked up this site where you can go and buy these crayons, and the company that sells those, they actually, if you buy those crayons, they actually donate that money to Veterans Fund or Military Families Fund, which I thought was kind of cool.
Amen.
And Vanessa Kitty, yes, pencils are better. You have to, everything you write down is in pencil. Officers know that they have to write things in pen, but sergeants write things down in pencil because they know better.
Any shout outs?
Not yet.
Chris, I'll let you and Mike add the necessary stuff in front and behind, all right?
Okay. Just real quick, so for the listeners, just so that they know, we are working on trying to get more content for different areas to tie into reloading, not just the standard stuff that we've been talking about, trying to see if we can get some interviews and maybe some on-site stuff, talking to people, various vendors. I know Sharenda's working it. I'm working it with some people here in Wyoming, just so we can kind of bring a little bit more and encompass wider stuff to it.
Sorry, Chris, I overrode you.
No, go ahead.
Well, go ahead and finish your statement again, please.
No, I was just saying, like, we are trying to work with various vendors. Like, I'm trying to get with Shiloh Sharp's rifle so we can actually talk black powder reloading with the metallic cartridges that they use. for their rifles. I know I'm trying to get with Thunder Beast, so we can kind of hopefully, if they're kosher with it, maybe we can talk a little bit reloading with suppressors. And I mean, they're only about 2 hours away. I can maybe zip down. We can go out to their range, and maybe we're just trying to think outside the box and get some more content out there for everybody.
Plus, if you guys have any questions or anything else for us, please post them. Send it to us. Put it on Discord. Put it on MeWe. Put it on reloadingpodcast@gmail.com.
Right.
Send it to us.
Yep.
We make us work for a living here.
Yeah, send suggestions. We can't. I mean, a closed mouth don't get fed.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have nothing to say, we don't want to hear you complaining about it later.
Speaking of which, that was another point that came up. And we're talking about inviting the peanut gallery one at a time, of course, per maybe a month. But some of you folks that are regulars, we'd like to have your input on the show live.
Except Paul Loud. You can only have one main person on the show at one time.
You're terrible. Two mainers together on the same screen. Oh my God, my screen will blow up.
Okay, we got a question there from Michael Dunn. Can someone tell me if 7.62 by 51 is the same as 308 cases?
No. The walls of the machine gun brass 7.62 fired or in an M15, whichever M14, excuse me. They're not the same. On the inside, the walls are thicker. The machine gun brass is thicker. So the 308 case, 308 cartridge factory ammo is actually hotter than the 7.62 NATO. But the dimensions on the exterior of the case are identical, but not on the inside. The wall thickness creates a little bit hotter pressure. Thank you, Andy. 79Z28. We really appreciate that little comment. And his comment is that he loves the show 95% of the time.
He said 95.
Yeah.
He said 95.
Can't get to 100.
The other 5% must be when I'm talking.
No, that must be when we spend 30 minutes talking about, all the cool things we done on the weekend.
Okay, let's see. What's in the private chat?
Okay.
Good. That'll work, Chris. All right. We got anything else?
No. I got to say congratulations to the Indiana concealed carry, constitutional concealed carrier that helped stop a mall shooting over the weekend here. I know that's slightly political, but he made a shot from approximately 40 yards away to stop a person from committing a very heinous act, or that was in the process of committing a very heinous act. And I got to thank him.
A new hero in Indiana, and that's not said facetiously. We do have a question on the screen from someone that calls himself some fool. His question is: does the thicker wall make the brass last longer before the case head separates? Is what he's asking.
No,
I agree with that. I would think the case head separation would depend upon bumping the shoulder back a minute amount, no more than 2 thousandths, keeping that shoulder where it was originally fired in your chamber.
it depends upon first of the machine gun that was fired in.
True.
Okay. Because if the machine gun had poor headspace control, it may have already ruined the brass just from being fired one time.
Yeah, we're talking about that groove on the inside of the case that comes from multiple firings. It's called incipient head separation. Look it up, guys. Google it.
Excuse me.
Yeah, there's a real I don't know, the 249 I don't think is as bad as the M60 was, but if you're going to reload 308 NATO cases, number one, get yourself an annealer to anneal the cases, and number two is get yourself a good press and good dies.
And get some good lubricant, pure lanolin.
Yeah.
Or imperial sizing wax. But make sure you use plenty of whatever you're going to use for lubricant, because they will stick. But don't use over them too much, because then you get lube dent, pressure dents. Hope that answers your question, some fool. Here's a good one. The guy's right, too. But this isn't a political show.
You'd be surprised here, when we heard about it. I mean, right away. And the mainstream media was, especially some of the antis, when they said how far away he took his shots, we're saying just what we need. Somebody's spraying more bullets all over the place.
Yeah, but those bullets were sprayed quite judiciously and quite accurately and quite well placed.
They were.
Period.
And if you're talking, somebody who fires 10 rounds to put a man down at 40 yards, that was and he was not trained as a law enforcement or as a ex military personnel. So he was 22 years old, and he did a good job. All right.
And on that note, Mike says, keep your brass shiny. Sharenda says,
Teach a lady to reload and let us pinch off your stash just a little bit.
that gorgeous smile of yours. Sharp.
Shoot smarter, not harder.
Mr. Nelson.
Grandpa told me, he says, don't listen to your mama. Violence does solve problems.
And I say, support the Second Amendment. Join your local gun club. Do something. Come on. Put your money where our mouth is. Get out there and support the Second Amendment. If you don't do it, no one else will.
Yep. Thank you guys for showing up tonight, and we appreciate everything you do. Our Patreons, we appreciate everything you do to help us. The Radio Firearms Network for helping give us bandwidth for the show.
Yeah, Firearms Radio Network. That's right.
And the Patriot Patch Company.
And don't forget Primary Arms.
And then there's Primary Arms. I don't have the screen up to see what's on sale this week, but there's going to be something. And don't forget, if you buy one of their optics, you get a mount with that. So remember that when you're looking for some new optics for your guns. And with that, Chris?
Like we always discuss every week, if you're struggling, reach out, talk to somebody. There's counselors available. Reach out to a friend. We want to see you here. We want you here tomorrow. Yeah, it works. I mean, we don't want to see you're gone. So just reach out. Somebody, there'll always be somebody here. Listen, you reach out to us on Facebook. You can private message any one of us. I guarantee we'll talk to you. Most of us hang out on Facebook all day anyway because we have no lives even when we're at work. I know Sherner and I have talked numerous times throughout the day, so we apparently have no lives. But we want you here. Reach out, talk to somebody.
And there's no judgment. I mean, it's
Nope.
not like if you come to us with something, we're going to be in some whole separate chat, gossiping, putting your business out there. It's important. So
Yeah, because if you private message me, trust me, from being in the military, I know all too well how it is to lose somebody close to you from suicide. I won't judge it. I'll try to help you the best I can, even if it's just you need to vent about stuff. To reach out.
And don't forget to, we'll help you get in touch with somebody that is professional and can help you too. Because all need a little bit of help every once in a while.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
good night, y'all.
Good night.